Okay, I can't switch them. Here's your hint.
2x plus 1 equals 3x minus 4.
All right, great. Why can you set those equal to each other?
Because y and 1.
Okay, y'all, what do both of these equations equal? They both equal what? So if they both equal y, can I set them equal to each other? Yes or no? Yes, they're the same thing, correct? So let's talk about why I might want to do this. Could you solve this equation right here? Because how many variables are there? What's the only variable in that equation? X. Now, is there more than one x? But there's only x's, correct? There's not x's and y's. Now, over here, there's an x and a... Can you solve that right now? No, but can you solve this? Yes, because there's only how many variables? One. Now, think about what you did here. Can you make another equation here? What equation would you make with that information? Okay, why can I set those equal to each other? They both equal x. Now, did I get rid of my x variable? And I only have what now? Y's. Okay, so the whole purpose of us doing that is I want you to see if I have two variables, I can't solve this equation, correct? But if I have one variable, could you solve that? Could you tell me what y equals? Yes. Okay, so that's the concept we're going to use when we get a problem like this. All right, so everybody grab a highlighter. Pick it up. Stick your hand, highlighter, you need it. All right, so we're going to use the concept of substitution, which means one thing goes in and another comes out. Okay, so, but they have to play the same position. Does that make sense? They have to both be a quarterback. They have to both be the same thing. What variable is all by itself, the x or the y? Y. So I want you to take your highlighter and I want you to highlight 1 minus 4x. Okay, because that's what y equals. Highlight 1 minus 4x. All right, do you see a y anywhere else in this problem? Where? Okay, I don't want to highlight what it equals, but do y'all see how it says 2y? So just highlight the y. Okay, do y'all see how those are both the same thing? They're both what? They're both y. So I'm going to substitute. I'm going to write 7x plus 2. All right, what do you think I can put there instead of y? 1 minus 4x, because isn't that what y equals? Okay, so I substituted them. Equals, yeah, just a second, equals 3. So let me explain what I just did. This equation, I have a 7x. Everybody okay with that? Plus 2. I don't like having an x and a y in my equation because I can't solve that. But didn't I just figure out what y equals? Y equals this guy right here. So I took out my y and I put in 1 minus 4x. Equals 3. Now, does this have one variable? It only has what? X. So can you solve an equation that just has x's? Yes, so now we're going to solve this. Sound a little bit better to me? Okay, so what would you do first to solve this, y'all? Distribute, good. So I'm going to have 7x plus 2 minus 8x equals 3. All right, what do you need to do next here? Combine your like terms. What are my like terms? 7x and negative 8x. Y'all, when you combine like terms, what operation is that? Addition. So what's 7 plus negative 8? Negative 1x plus 2 equals 3. All right, now what needs to be moved to the other side? 2. How do I move to 2? Good. And I'm going to have negative 1x equals 1. How do I get that x by itself? Divide by negative 1, and I get x equals negative 1. All right, so are y'all okay? Are y'all okay with just solving and we got x equals negative 1? Okay, now, here's the deal. How many equations did I start with? 2. How many variables did I start with? 2. I had an x and a... Am I done? Because I need to know what x is and I need to know what... So, any ideas of how I can find my y? Exactly. I'm going to put this negative 1 where the x is. So I'm going to have y equals 1 minus 4. What am I going to use instead of that x? negative 1. Okay, now put that in your calculator. 1 minus 4 parentheses negative 1. Hello. Yes. Good, how are you? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. All right, bye-bye. All right, what is 1 minus 4 times negative 1? When you put that in your calculator, what do you get? 5. So y equals what number? 5. Okay, so remember, how do you have to write your answer as a what? As a point. What comes first, x or y? And what's my x? And what's my y? There's your solution. Okay? If you're like, that was just so much, it was the first problem, so we're going to not panic. We're going to do another one. Okay? All right, so let's start with step 1. Okay? On this guy right here, what's all by itself, the x or the y? The y. So grab your highlighter and highlight 6x minus 11. All right? If I highlight 6x minus 11, what do I need to highlight in the second problem? Not 3y, but just the y. Okay? So now I found the two things that are equal to each other. Okay? Now what am I going to need to do? Replace it. Substitute it. Good. So I'm going to say negative 2x minus 3. Am I going to put a y here? What do I need to use instead of y? Good. Parentheses 6x minus 11 equals negative 7. All right, pause. Take a second. Are we okay with what we just did? We took out the y and we put in what the y equals. Now, before I keep going, you need to check, is this an equation you can solve? Because I only have what? X's. If you have an x and a y, that means you did something wrong. But I only have x's, so what am I going to do to get rid of these parentheses? Good. Go ahead and distribute. What am I distributing? What kind of 3 is this, y'all? Make sure you distribute a negative 3. Alright, I made a mistake. Can anybody find where it is?
Wait. Is that a negative?
It's a negative 11. So I made a mistake. Why should it be plus 33? A negative times a negative should give me a positive 33. Okay, I'll pause. Wow, this is struggling. Why is this not going to go? Alright, what needs to go together now? Your x's, we're going to combine our like terms. When you combine your like terms, what operation is that? Addition. What is a negative 2 plus a negative 18? Did I just exit out of that?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Not minus negative 18, negative 2 plus negative 18. Because when you combine, you add. So I've got a negative 20x plus what, y'all? Equals. Alright, what has to get to the other side? Good, how do I move this 33? Love it. Alright, what is negative 7 minus 33? Okay, negative 40. Jack, how do you get that x by itself?
Add it.
How do you undo, this multiplication is holding it together, how do you undo multiplication? So what's a negative divided by a negative, y'all? Positive, so x is going to equal 2. Alright, now, are you done? Because you need a x and a, so I'm going to take this x and I'm going to substitute it right there. So I'm going to have y equals 6. What am I using instead of x? 2 minus, alright, put that in your calculator. Column says 1. Any confirmation on 1? Okay, good. Now how do you have to write your answer though? As a what? Not a fraction, as a point. So it's going to be what comes first, x or y? X, I'm going to need 2, comma, 1. Yes, you're going to use this and you're going to substitute it in for x. Alright, this guy right here, okay? What is all by itself, the x or the y? The y. Okay, so I'm going to highlight x minus 1. And what am I going to highlight up here? The y. Okay, so I highlighted. I want you to now try to, what would you have to do next, y'all? Substitute. I want you to try to substitute. So when I rewrite this, there's a couple things you got to be careful of. You have to rewrite this exactly how it is. What's the only thing you're changing though? The what? The y. So am I keeping this 2x?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to have 2x minus, what do I have to put next? 3, and then when I put in for y, I need what around it? And what does y equal? Do I need that whole x minus 1? Yes, you do. Equals -1. We okay? Now, what would I do next?
Distribute.
Okay, go in and distribute. So I'm going to have 2x minus 3x. What would come next? Plus 3 equals -1. All right, Lydia, what would you put together?
We're on number 5.
We're on number 2.
Yeah, I just got, I will put 2x minus.
Okay, what's 2x and a -3x? -1x plus 3 equals -1. All right, Achilles, what needs to be moved?
3.
3. How do I move the 3?
Put a -3 on both sides.
Good. Subtract it. And I'm going to have -1x. So here's where you need to be careful. Put this in your calculator. What do you get?
4.
-4. Good. And then how do I get this x by itself? And what's a negative divided by a negative? +4. Now, you need a x. You also need a... All right, so where am I going to put this 4? In the y for the what variable, though? X. So I'm going to have y equals, what am I using instead of x? Minus, well, y'all, what's 4 minus 1? 3. You okay with that? Then how do you write your answer? 4, 3. Because what has to come first? X. All right. On number 3, I want you, if all you can do is highlight and then rewrite, that's all I want you to do. If you can keep going, keep going. So on number 3, I want you to at least highlight and rewrite. Y'all, so when I highlight, I'm going to highlight what? What 2 things am I highlighting, Achilles?
5x -10.
Okay?
And the y.
Good. Everybody okay with that? All right, Miles, rewrite that second equation for me. What would it look like when you rewrote it? When you substituted, what would it look like? Is everybody okay with that? All right, now, all I have to do is solve. What am I going to do to solve this? Distribute. What am I distributing? A -10. Good. So I'm going to have a -3x minus 10x, then what, y'all? Plus 14 equals 11, okay? Now, Asia, what would I do next? Okay, what are your like terms? Okay, when you combine those, what do you get? Good, -13x plus 14 equals -12. What do we need to move here, Nala? What do you move? And how do you move it? Good. And that's going to give us, y'all, a -13x equals... All right, Landon, how do you get that x by itself? What does that give you? Okay, positive or negative? Good. All right, everybody okay with x equals 2? Now, are you done? Where does this 2 need to go? In the x right here so I can find out what y is. So I'm going to have 5 parentheses what? minus, and what does that give you? 3, and you have to write your answer as a what? Point, so I'm going to have what? Not 2, comma 3, because 2 is your x. Okay? Are we feeling a little bit better? Okay? Alright, 4 looks a little funky. What's funky about 4? They both equal what? No, if they both equal y, what can we go do? Set them equal to each other. So just come in here and set negative 2x plus 7 equal to what? Good, negative 4x plus 15. Now, how do I know I'm okay? How many variables do I have? 1, I just have what? X. Good, alright? What do you want to move, Travis? What you want to do first?
Move. Add the 4 to the negative 2x.
Okay, and what does that give you?
Positive 2x.
Good, 2x plus 7 equals 15. Alright, what do I need to do now? Celia, what do we need to move? Good, how do you move the 7? Love it. So what's 15 minus 7? 8. And now, so that means x is going to equal 4. Alright, now here's where you kind of get to make a choice. Does it? I have my x, correct? But I need to find my y. Well, y'all, both of these equations are y equal. Do we see that? It does not matter which one you put it into. Which one do y'all want to put it into? Which one? The first one? Okay, so if I put this into the first one, I'm going to have negative 2. What am I using instead of x? 4 plus what? Put that in your calculator. What do you get? Negative 1. Okay, now, just to prove my point, what if I put it into this equation? I have negative 4 parentheses, what am I using for x? You get the same thing. So it does not matter which one you put it into, so I know my y equals negative 1. And how do I have to write my answer? 4, comma, negative 1. Awesome. All right, you can go ahead and cross out 6. We're not going to do 6. I want you to work 5 in your group. Your whole group has got it situated. Okay, let me know and I will come check it. Good. You need to write your answer as a what, Greg, on number 5?